Hello there and welcome. In this video we are going to create, with the help of Django, a small inventory. So let's imagine that you have information about virtual machines, so physical machines that you would like to basically store in a Django web application. And we are going to talk about how you can use model forms, how you can realize this. So let's create a YouTube inventory folder, and after navigating in there we would use the Django admin start project inventory, and inside the inventory we would like to use the Django start app, and we would call these servers. And let's open up our favorite code editor. What did I do? So dot. All right. So this is how our layout looks like. This is the main project and this is the application. So what do we have to do? First, we go into the settings. Here we would like to import the OS module. And here we would like to use the servers.apps. And we use the server config. That's one. And here we have to specify with the os.path.join base dir templates the folder where we would like to store our templates. That's all for the settings file. And inside our URLs file, this is what we would like to do. We would like to import the include. And here we say that we want to include everything under the default context route from the servers.urls. And yeah, basically that's it. And that should be it for the project configuration. Let's close these files. Now, in our servers folder, we have to create a folder called templates. And inside the templates folder, we create one called servers. And we will have a couple of files. So we will have the index.html. We will have the create server.html. We would have the update server.html, and we have index, update, create, and we need the delete server.html. All right. So inside our index.html and basically every HTML file that we use under the templates folder, we want to use another folder outside on the top level called templates. And here we would like to specify our main.html. And besides our main, we would have, what do we have? So we would have this content. So basically what we do is to specify that our main template should have a title, it should have some table formatting which we will use while representing the stored data, and we have a welcome message, and this is where each subpage is going to render its additional content. All right, let's save it. And the next thing that we would like to do is to go under the admin. And here we would have from the models two imports. We would like to import the tag and the server. And on the admin side, we would like to register the server and register the tag. So the server will contain information about basically our entity, so the server, and the tag could be like production, testing, development, web server, DNS server, whatever tag we feel like creating. So that's all that we want to add to our basically model or admin.py. And now we would like to create a new file called URLs. And inside this file, what we would like to do is to import from the Django URLs the path, and from that import views. And the URL patterns are going to be as follows. So we would have a path which would have the views dot servers, and the name is going to be servers. And yeah, for now it should be all right. And what we have to do is to create our view for the servers. So servers is going to be the function. It takes a request, and basically we would have a context dictionary which takes servers as an argument. And basically what we would do is to query all the servers that we have in our database. So in order to do that, we have to import from the models the server class which we are about to define, and we return the render with the request, and we would use the servers index.html and with the context variable that we have just created. Alright, so now we have to define inside our models how the servers look like. So basically what we would like to do is to import the UUID4 from the UUID module, because I want to give a special ID for each server that we have. And here we will have our server class, which inherits from the model base class. And every server should have a name, a description, a CPU count, a RAM count, a storage count, and a created, and an ID, and tags. So the name is going to come from the car field models with the max length of 20, and the description will come from the text field, and it can be null, and we can leave it as blank when we fill out the form. And we need 3 integer fields, so models that integer field, and this one and this one. And the created is going to be automatically populated field from the models that date time field auto add now true, and editable is false, and the primary, no, sorry, this is the next. So that's it. And the ID should be a models.uuid field, and the default is going to be a UUID4, and the unique should be true, editable should be false, and the primary key should be true. Can you still see it? Yes, you can. So let's go further. We would like to define a tag. So the models that many to many field will be the property of the tags, and we would use the tag class, and the blank is true, so we allow it to be empty. And we would like to define a tag with the models.model, and the choices should be as follows. So we would have a prod, test, and development, or rather dev, and it would have a name, which will be a character field. It would have a created, which would be the same as the server's created, and it would also have an ID, which is the same as here, and yeah, and we should give it the choices. Alright, in order to make it prettier, what we would like to do is to define or override the stirred underscore method, and we return the self.name. And I don't think we need this. Oh no, we don't. Alright, and let's make, oh no, we don't want to make it. So now we have our models defined. Let's create our forms.py, and inside our forms we would like to import from the Django.forms the model form, and from models we import server, and we create a class called server form from the model form base class, and it will have a meta class which uses the model server, and the fields are going to be the underscore all. Alright, and now in order to use our server's page, we have to paste the following content. So basically, you will find a GitHub link in the description where you can find all the code. But what happens here is that we extend our main template, this one, and after that we paste stuff in the block content. So this is going to be a table which is populated by the servers, and yeah, if the servers are available. If not, we say that the inventory is empty, and anyway we would like to add the create server. So now what we would like to do is to extend our URLs. So basically what we have to do is to add a path for the create server, and this uses the views that create server with the name create server. And since we want to be able to update and delete, then we should add these functionalities as well. So listing, creating, updating, and deleting. All right. And now we have to define the create server, the update server, and the delete server inside the views. So how do we create a new server? In order to create a server, we have to take the request which wants to create it, and if the request that method is equal to post, what we have to do is to create a form. So this form will come from the server form, and from forms import server form, and the data of the request post property. And if the form is valid, then we will save the form and return a redirect to the servers. And this works because in the URLs we have named our context route, basically. So we need the redirect. Otherwise, we will create a form which is a server form, and the context is going to be a dictionary with the form, and we return the render with the request and the servers create server.html with the context. All right. In order to update or delete the server, we need a unique ID. And this unique ID comes from the ID field, or the ID column, if you will, of our class. So inside the views, we have to use something similar to the create, but we have the PK argument, which will be the primary key or the ID of the server, and this will be called update server. And we would like to create basically a server from the server.objects.get, where the ID is equal to PK. Then we would like to have a form, which is a server form, and the instance is from the server. And basically what we did was to query the given server from the database, populate the form, send it back to the user, wait for the changes to be submitted, and then go ahead and update it as long as the form is valid. So here we need to specify the instance, which should be the same when we create a new form as the one we queried based on the ID. And if it's valid, we save it. Otherwise, we basically we can delete this. We can return with the update server HTML. And we will also have the delete server. So basically, this should be the delete function. We delete based on a unique ID. And in order to delete it, we have to make sure that it exists, what we want to delete. And if it exists and the request method is post, then we would like to call the server delete server delete and return with the server's context root. Otherwise, we would have the context set to the server and go back to the delete page. So what we have to do now is to use the manage.py to issue the migrate command. No module means servers.app. I think this is the problem. Servers view and this is the servers and tag name choices must be iterable containing actual value and human readable name. So that was the problem. So production and testing and development. All right, voila. So now we use the create super user and reaper.py at gmail.com and the password, which is super secret, and let's use the Python manage.py make migrations. Oh, all right, so let's go ahead and run the run server command. All right, so now as you can see, the server has no attribute object. I don't even think that we have created. Yes, we created it, and it says that this is the problem. Oh, objects, and the inventory is empty. So let's go ahead and check out our admin interface. So here what we can do is to check the server and the tags. This is working because here at the admin.py we registered these classes. So if we go into the tags, it's not working. Oh, because it is not defined. All right. And servers.server. So we have the URLs. And we have this servers.urls and this is included correctly. Now let's go ahead and Yeah. So if we refresh this page, you see that the inventory is empty. We have the create server form. If we click here, we would have the create server loaded, but it is not defined. So how do we create a server? Basically, what we have to do is use this statement. So we have to extend the main.html. We will have a header, which is the server form, and the CSRF token prevents us from being caught blindsided, in a sense that it doesn't allow manipulation of forms during transit. So if we reload it, come on, let's save it. Then you can see that we are welcome to the inventory app. We are greeted with the form, and we could say that this is the Azure Web 01 Azure Apache server. It has 2 cores and 4 gigs of RAM with 20 gigs of storage. And yeah, we should be able to submit it. So update server. Oh, yeah, and if we want to create it, then we should use the create server. So here in the views, but we are using it. So let's go to a different route. We would like to add the production tag, 2 cores, 4 gigs of RAM, 30 gigs of storage, and the Azure Web 01 Azure Apache server. Let's save it. And as you can see, we have these server object and whatnot written out here. How should we change it? What we can do is to go to the models and define our stir function, or rather overdefine it or override it, and return a string with the self.name, and the CPU is self.cpu, and the RAM is self.ram gigabytes, and the storage is self.storage. Let's save it, and I think we should run this. No, we didn't have to. Oh, because that was just a function definition. So let's run it once again. If we go back to the admin interface and refresh it, you can see that we have the appropriate name written out, and we can edit them and whatnot. So inside our inventory, we should have oh, hold on. strpk I remember explaining that based on what we would like to create or update a server, but yeah. So sorry for the introduction. So now we should have the create server, So test demo server, and it has 2 cores, 4 gigs of RAM, 10 gigs, and submit it. And we would like to say that we don't need the ASD named server anymore, so we click on delete. In order to work this delete template, what we have to do is the following. We have the delete server, and basically we want the following content. Here what we do is to say that we want the token verification and ask whether they really want to delete that server. And if they click on change my mind, we go back to the previous page. Otherwise, we will delete it. So let's see it action. Here, if I go back to change my mind, you can see that it was not deleted. But if I go to delete and confirm it, it is gone from the list. And here it is also gone. Alright, and what we would like to do, we have the create server, the delete server, and we need the update server. So if currently I go to the edit part, you see that this is an empty page because I have to specify the update server.html, which will be basically the same as the create server. So if we go back and reload it, here we can edit it. So increase the CPU and the RAM and the storage and submit it. So now this is also working. Let's go ahead and delete this test, confirm it, and basically that's it. If we want, we can give it new tags and testing, and under inventory with the edit we can select one or multiple tags. And technically this, hold on, I think I may have swapped up something. So let's go back to the index, and under the storage we have the tags, but we can see the created. So let's give it the TD server.tags, and let's close this tag. And under the tags we have the created. Under the created we have the edit. So if we save it now and reload the page, we should be able to see this one. And yeah, I think what we can also do, since those tags don't seem to be human readable, is to add the all property, and there we go. So this is how you can create an inventory. See you in the next one.